Hello and welcome to Cutting the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, as always, and I'm here with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And Pete.
Hello.
Don't worry, listener, Claire's reign of tyranny is over, and I am back.
Reign of tyranny? Oh, how dare you. I did really well. I even remember my name.
All the listeners have been saying, get rid of Ben, just keep Claire.
Have they?
Yeah.
I didn't see that post.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I did injure myself. It wasn't from laughing at Mike's jokes, it was laughing at his football team.
Oh.
And the groaning every time Pete mentions Boris Karloff. Oh, not again. But it's either way, yeah, so that's how I injured myself.
Jealousy's a funny colour, innit?
Is it a colour at all? Can you see emotion? Does emotion have colour?
Wow.
Who can say?
Wow.
But yeah, follow us on Facebook at Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. YouTube is Apocalypse Bull. And SoundCloud and Spotify and all your other podcasting platforms is Cutting to the Bull in the PTA. This week we're going to have a discussion about the Warrens of the Warrenverse fame and obviously ghost hunting fame. Charlatans
Yeah,
or genuine?
I think charlatans.
Maybe there may have been parts that were genuine, but I think as a general, they were caught out too many times, weren't they?
Yeah, well, that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening.
Hey.
You asked the question now. You should have asked it.
No, we'll do a little bit. We'll go into that in detail once I've thanked some new returning listeners. Hot Springs in the US. I want to go live in Hot Springs.
Me too.
I bet it's really cold.
Probably is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if they've got hot springs, you can go and sit in them.
Yeah, just jump in nude.
Fair enough.
Zurich in Switzerland, Bukgu in South Korea, Amsterdam, obviously Holland, Edinburgh in the UK, Lanesburg in the US, I don't know where that is, Frankfurt am Main in Germany, Blair Gallery in the UK, I have no idea where the fuck that is, Melbourne and Perth in Australia, Lancaster in America, Boardman in America, Bangkok, Houston, America, Helsinki, Finland, Mountain City, America. Oh, a lot this week. Dubai. Keep going. Where's that? Angola. Luanda in Angola. Yeah. There's a hammer and... There's almost a bit of a hammer and sickle motif on there, Fly.
Mm-hmm.
And Guadalajara, Spain.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Are Angola part of the Axis of Evil, or are they alright now?
The Axis of Evil?
Yeah, I thought they were right, because they've got a bit of a hammer and sickle motif going. I thought they might have been part of the bad guys.
Don't think so.
No, they were on Red Alert 2.
Oh, were they?
They were.
Oh.
I'm only basing that on Red Alert 2.
What's Red Alert?
It's a computer game from the 90s.
Oh yeah, I played Red Alert 1.
Yeah, Red Alert 2. Yeah, so they were on the bad guys team on that one. So I don't know.
Maybe.
Quality games.
They were cracking. All right, let's talk about Ed and Looraine Warren. I think everything's been taken. All the housekeeping's done. No one's died.
Pete,
No shout outs, Pete. Anyone's died?
No.
Who's a shout out?
Not of any notable. No, nobody of major importance.
Oh, there we go then. Jobs are good.
Been a good week.
The Warrens, Amityville, Annabelle. They briefly turned up at the Enfield haunting. Got a film out of it though, didn't they?
Yeah.
So the reputation of the cute and cuddly exorcists Ed and Looraine Warren has grown outsized in the 21st century pop culture. That's mainly thanks to the juggernaut Conjuring franchise, loosely, and we're going to say loosely with massive quotation marks, based on their lives, with Vera Farmiga playing Lorraine and Patrick Wilson playing Ed.
Far too hot for him. Far, far too hot. That's like me doing my life story. It's like, who's playing you? Brad Pitt, obviously. Do you know what I mean? It's like fuck's sake, man. They should have had a couple of fucking Uggs playing him at least.
I'd definitely put you down for a Steve Buscemi.
I think Tom Hanks with his forehead.
Ooh, that's like he can play older Pete.
No, definitely Seth Rogen. He does look a bit like Seth Rogen.
What?
Yeah.
Let's do Ben.
Oh, it's John Goodman. Or
No,
Dad.
Brian Denny.
He's too old now.
Oh, he's
Kermit
too
the
old.
Frog.
He's not good. Giant haystacks.
For the younger listeners, that was a real wrestler. Back in the day when wrestling was proper men wrestling. Real.
Me, Kathy Burke. Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Oh no. I can see the face, I just can't think of a fucking name. That's going to drive me crazy.
Mike's is Frankie Boyle.
Yeah.
A bit of a Frankie Boyle look about him.
Yeah.
Just with a ginger beard.
What, he ate Frankie Boyle or?
Well, Frankie Boyle's going to have to go character, isn't he?
Or a bit of Brian Blessed you've got right.
I'm Michael Martin.
I think he's just a beard.
Thanks, Claire.
I'll
remember
famous as fuck.
Right.
The issue is he's 90.
Oh dear.
I mean, Tom Hanks is going to be fine to make older Pete.
Yeah, Brian Blessed was also in that. Oh, what's that film? Flash Gordon. He was young then, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that was like 1980 something, Claire. It's 40 years ago.
All right then.
And he wasn't even young then.
No, he wasn't young then. He was like 50 something.
Fuck. Let me just try and dig out of this hole. I'm so sorry.
No, it's too
It's
late.
gonna take her a while.
Can't be taken back. It's on. It's been recorded. It's out there.
As we were, shall we?
Yeah, there's the equally popular franchise spin-off series Annabelle, based on the Warrens' creepy doll, and The Nun, based on a fan favourite demonic entity from the previous films. And there's a 2009 hit horror flick, A Haunting in Connecticut, and a number of best-selling books that depict the Warrens as the first and last line of defence against the supernatural.
Never seen any of them films, so
Nope, not me. I've read the cases, I've watched videos on the cases, but that's it. Horror films don't really do it for me, to
I
be
watched
fair.
The Nun 2 and fell asleep, so on snooze rating.
See, I've watched all of them. Me and my ex-wife have always been fans of horror movies, so we're always watching horror films. I can't think of a single one that we actually said, fuck yeah, that was good. They were all a bag of shit, really. Horror films ain't horror films anymore, for one. I know it's because maybe I'm a bit older and a bit wiser, and when I was younger, horror films had a different... They had a different gravitas, didn't they? They had a different effect on you when you were a bit younger. I suppose once you hit adulthood...
Once you hit adulthood and you've just seen the horrors that modern life throws at you, horror films are quite tame, really.
Yeah.
So, if that chick from The Ring came out of my TV, well, I'd just be like, I just end up punching in the face.
I'd be getting her to... You know, hey,
While you're on your knees.
Yeah, while you're down there, love.
Wash it down, like it's a wash.
Creepy deceased nun is stood next to my bed. I was like, either get in or get out.
Yeah, Simples. Is that robe coming off, or is it staying on? If
you
it's staying on, you can fuck off.
You're dead, so the vows that apply to you, get in or fuck off. Look, I'm going to be up at 6, make your mind up.
just don't make a habit of it.
Oh, dear.
He's got the cry.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna hand it over for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it over.
Back to its rightful owner.
Well, I've had it for quite a while now.
Now it's me, none the wiser.
Oh, that's even lamer.
So Ed and Looraine Warren, both raised in the Catholic Church in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Both massive Catholics.
Obviously,
Good.
all the crazy ones are.
Yeah.
It's a valid point, actually. I'm not going to do it. By the time they met as teenagers in 1944, she had already fully embraced her identity as a purported psychic medium. I don't know where Catholicism goes with psychic mediums. Surely that would be witchcraft.
I think so.
Well,
wouldn't you?
if you were a devout Catholic, then yeah, you're going. They really don't and ghosts are all evil in Catholicism. Basically, there's no real
Everything's
good
evil,
ghosts.
everything's a sin.
That's
you know?
true.
But it's very much like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does seem a bit strange, doesn't it?
Yes, so it's always struck me as a bit odd, to be fair, that one.
Mm.
So after Ed went off to fight in World War II, he studied in art college and wound up using his talent to fuel his rapidly deepening paranormal interests instead. And together with Looraine, he would show up in an allegedly haunted house, paint a picture of the house, and then gift the artwork to the homeowners as a pretext to negotiate his way inside. Sounds like a bit of a grift to me straight away. It's like, oh, So, hey, we've just painted this picture of your house. You didn't ask us to paint, but here you go. If you let us show us your ghost, you can have it. There's no shit. I don't want it. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Did I ask you to paint this? Get the fuck out of my house. Once they've been welcomed in, I'd imagine that it wasn't a foregone conclusion that they'd be welcomed in, to be fair.
Well, no, they would have been, because in them days people were a hell of a lot more friendly and a lot more neighbourly. Nowadays, they wouldn't have been let in, but 40s, 50s, they'd have been let in.
Yeah, and especially if
That's
they
strange
believe
stuff,
they've got a
yeah.
ghost, they want as many people to believe them as possible, don't they?
It would be interesting, I doubt there's ever been a study on it, to see what ghost belief, is it peaking now, or did it peak back in the 40s and 50s? Belief in the paranormal always peaks after war, because so many people have died.
And they're wanting answers.
Ouija board
etc.
sales go through the roof, that kind of thing. So I wonder if there is, but then again, lockdown, stuff like that spiked because everyone was just at home, bored off their tits and started hallucinating, probably. I don't know. Be interesting to see if there was more belief back then than there is now, or vice versa.
I think more back then. The science wasn't as ingrained.
I don't know whether there was more belief, different belief.
I would have said
maybe.
more belief in ghosts 100 years ago than now.
I don't know. Was it around?
They all did, didn't they? Even Conan Doyle believed in fairies, didn't he?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was into the paranormal as well, wasn't he? He was into all the medium stuff because he was trying to contact his son who died. And didn't Charlie Chaplin have a bet with him? Was it Chaplin? Houdini. Houdini had a bet with him, like, prove it then.
Like,
Famous skeptic Houdini.
like all these pictures from back in the day when they get developed, and then it's got somebody sitting there next to them that wasn't next to him, so they're like, oh, it's a ghost. We don't get as many things developed these days, and maybe these digital cameras can't, do that. What, the other ones did.
The thing is, today it can be fake so easily.
That's the other thing. See, never been.
The digital age has made it too easy, isn't it, to fake?
If you wanted to fake a photo back then, when you actually haven't developed, you'd have to do it yourself and double expose
I
it,
was
wouldn't
going
you?
to say you develop one photo with two
Films.
The
little
film.
bit,
Negatives.
Negatives, that was
Yeah.
it. You'd use two negatives to create one image, basically, and overlap the two images.
And that's
But
how
that
they-
was
that's
quite
how-
easily to distinguish, wasn't it? It was quite easy to.
Yeah.
An expert would see that straight away, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So that there's been lots and lots of those kind of pictures that you're talking about debunked. But there
right.
has been a handful that have been like, well, it's not been double exposed. It is. We can't explain this one. There's been a lot. There's been a few of them, definitely, but.
There's always a few sort of ones that you think, fucking hell, that is a bit odd. But most of it's done at night, isn't it? So you're never going to get fantastic results.
No. I've personally taken pictures, and there's been some fucking strange things in the picture that weren't there when we took them. That was in my old house in Barry, and that was a fucking Victorian old bloody house, and that was a creepy fucking place. We were the only people living in this fucking row of houses that were above loads of shops in the middle of Barry town centre, and nobody lived anywhere near us. But the noises you'd hear at night, it was like you could swear there was people living within the houses either side.
Maybe it was
Just the way saying carers on the window.
100%. I'm not going to say, but there was a lot of very, very, very strange things in that
birds,
place.
mice, squirrels, rats,
Yeah.
Fucking big mice and rats making some of the noises that I used to hear.
Then we took a photograph in here a few years ago when we just first started, and there was that floating green orb with that demonic face in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pareidolia.
Could be.
There was a few pictures that I took in that flat. I had like a white swirl that went through the image, and it wasn't the same on each image, but it was within there, and it was always when I was taking an image down the hall. Cause my mate Jamie had just become a copper, and we were taking pictures of him in his uniform, and it was just like that. But there was about 4 or 5 of these images. Each had this weird, almost looked like an old school phone cord. But bright, fucking glowing white. I've got the pictures somewhere. I'll try. If I find them, I'll show them you next time.
Please do. I've been watching some interesting stuff on reels. You never know whether it's true or not, but The best one's this dude sat in his front room and he's sat like opposite the window. He's got big patio doors, and the blinds just go open and close, and he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
Yeah.
And then the dining room chair just fucking goes right across the room, and he's just sat there with his feet up. Yeah, well, someone could have a fishing line, admittedly, off camera.
Yeah.
These things can be faked, and that's the problem. Is it's fucking easy to fake. The blind one is a bit more, unless someone's got a fucking remote control for it.
There you go, could do.
Could be. We don't know, but it's interesting anyway. So once they've been welcomed in, Lorraine would often commune with the spirits, and the couple's reputations as demonologists and ghost hunters began to grow. In 1952, the Warrens created the New England Society for Psychic Research, which still exists today. The New England Skeptical Society, formed in 1996, would become one of the Warrens' staunchest critics. It took them that long to form a skeptic society. Like 40 years. Oh, fucking hell, get it together, guys. The emphasis on research helped the Warrens gain credibility in an era when interest in all things occult was growing rapidly. And as their son-in-law, Tony Spera, writes on his website, "If you had no one that would listen or help, you called the A-Team, I mean the Warrens." It's an interesting one because you had the Satanic Panic in the 80s, so that boosted them massively in America. Everyone everywhere was a Satanist, and they're killing children and drinking their blood, and it's all high up. There's thousands of them. It's all a massive cult. It was all bollocks.
So that was the start of like the conspiracy, you know, that sort of the adrenochrome.
It was like evangelicals was really starting to get in onto realising they could use media to further their beliefs.
Yeah.
And it's created by just a few liars, basically. One was an American stand-up called Mike Warnke, who claimed to have been this satanic priest, and you know, he hadn't done any of it. It was all fucking lies. But at the time, in the 1980s, you can't check that.
No.
So I can go on the internet now and find out exactly what he did all his life. Couldn't do that in the 80s.
Maybe most of it was fake, but I bet some of it was true.
Yeah, because most lies are born from truth, aren't they? There's some truth in most.
Or a desire to make money.
The satanic groups, they're active today. We've got one of the most notorious, most violent.
Allegedly, we have one in Shropshire. The Order of the Nine Angels, is
Angles,
it?
I think.
It could be either one.
Yeah.
Angles, Angels, yeah. Anywhere from like a dozen members to a few hundred, but they're meant to be based in Shropshire.
A few thousand worldwide, possibly.
Maybe. Yes, it's an interesting one. I think a lot of, I mean, it's not saying that there wasn't Satanists doing some heinous shit, but I think that the amount it was exaggerated.
Yeah.
You've got to look. I mean, they were arresting people for murder on just they're Satanist. That was it, you know.
Wow.
Now, among the reported 10,000 alleged paranormal cases the Warrens investigated over their many decades of activity, were a handful that made them famous. In no small part because they made sure to capitalise on their involvement afterwards through book deals and publicity.
And they're very good at that.
They were very good at it. They really understood it. For instance, although the Warrens are among many paranormal enthusiasts who took part in investigating the Amityville incident, you've all seen the film.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
We have done a podcast on Amityville. You can go back and check that out. That's a fairly early one. They were among the most celebrated, and their participation regularly features in the prevailing pop culture narrative around it. Just in case you do need a refresher, 1974, famously creepy house in Amityville, Long Island, saw a brutal family annihilated when a young man living there, Ronnie DeFeo, murdered his parents and 4 siblings. Despite popular myth, DeFeo never claimed he possessed, although he did unsuccessfully plead insanity at his trial. Ronnie DeFeo was on a lot of drugs. And possibly fucking his sister.
Fucking his sister, or his sister was possibly on a lot of fucking drugs.
No, he was fucking his sister while on a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
You never know with that case, actually, because the dad had mafia ties, so you never know whether it was just a hit, to be fair. No, so he did try and plead insanity, didn't get away with it. 2 years later, the Lutz family bought the dramatically discounted house, because it came fully furnished. Beautiful house, actually. It's got a pool. It's probably worth $1 million. They got it dirt cheap, because no one wants the murder house.
Yeah.
I'd move into the murder house. You know, it's like, this is a fucking 6-bedroom house with a pool on the lakeside. Fucking sweet.
Yeah, I'd set it up as a B&B.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd get many customers though, would you?
Well, you
Oh.
would, yeah.
You would. You'd get...
Stay in the murder rooms.
Famous house, isn't it? The Amityville.
It doesn't have the house looks creepy as well, because from the one angle it looks
got
like
a
it's
face.
got a face, hasn't
Yeah.
it?
I don't think it's that pronounced, is it? In real life.
No, it's not. They always get it from that's the end of the house.
The one in the film is not the.
No,
it's
probably
obviously
isn't.
an exaggerated version of the original, I think.
Yeah. So the Lutz family bought the house, lived in it for 28 days, and then abruptly left, claiming the place was the site of a malevolent haunting. And everyone believed them until it all came out about how the author of the book had said, hey, let's make up some ideas. What happened? You have some blood coming down the walls, swarm of flies.
Yeah.
Your wife turns into an aged old hag before your eyes and then turns back again. The voices, get out,
Mm-hmm.
The priest going in and being forced to flee. It was all fabricated.
Yeah, they can stage that shit, can't you?
No, it was just all made up. None of it ever happened. It was literally... The Exorcist had just come out.
Yeah.
Cash in on that. Jump on that bandwagon. Massively popular film. Everyone's like, we want more of this, please.
And of course the Warrens cooperated, didn't they? Because they wanted a bit of the book deal.
Of course. In fact, I'm not sure if they set up the author with the Lutz family.
Maybe.
One night during the frenzied aftermath of the exit of the Lutz family, the Warrens visited the site and took a series of time-lapse photos of the scene, including one famous and very obviously fake photo of supposedly a ghost of one of the murdered DeFeo children, although the man seen in the photo is genuinely believed to be Paul Bartz, an assistant of the Warrens. That is a fake photo. It looks great. It looks creepy as fuck, but it is this dude who just wandered into shot.
I don't think I've seen that picture.
The twist, the Lutz made it all up to get rich. It's been debunked and widely accepted as a hoax by just about everybody who attended the incident, except the Lutzes and the Warrens, who insisted over the years that Amityville was the most haunted location they'd ever visited, and they profited considerably from their devotion to the narrative. They served as story consultants on 1982's The Amityville Horror 2, and of course The Conjuring 2, with references to their Amityville exploration. It boosts their publicity, doesn't it? And it makes them seem like they're experts. Well, to be fair, the amount of shit we've looked into, we could probably be considered experts now.
Yeah, we just need a building to go, oh, that's all haunted
That's
over
haunted.
there.
Look at that. Oof. Look at this creepy photo of this man that doesn't look like Pete. His Pete's head poking around the door.
It doesn't look like Pete with a fake moustache on. It really
No,
doesn't.
no.
Looks like a young Boris Karloff.
Look at that forehead. The ghost of Boris. Several other purported hauntings and exorcism became indelibly associated with the Warrens. The 1991 made-for-TV film The Haunted, in which they feature as characters, adapts their version of the alleged paranormal case of the Smurl family. The best-selling 1992 book, In a Dark Place, co-written with author Ray Garton, describes their investigation into the alleged event that became the basis for the 2009 horror film The Haunting in Connecticut. In that incident, the focal family, who the hell would you say that? Sneedekers?
I'll do.
That works for me. Claimed to be seeing the ghosts of people whose bodies had formerly passed through their home, which had once been a mortuary. I think if you buy a mortuary and turn it into a home, you're kind of asking for something like that.
Yeah. Same with
Why?
Indian burial grounds
But
as
people
well.
didn't die in the mortuary.
No, that's a valid point.
It's only a fucking empty shell that's being brought to there.
Mm.
If you are to believe spiritualism in any way, shape, or form, the human body is just a shell. When the soul moves to its next destination, when the body is no longer needed, the body falls down as an empty shell, and that's it. So why would a mortuary be a haunted place? Because it's not like they were taking the people there to die.
I think hospitals would
I was going to say exactly the same. Hospitals, yes. A hospital mortuary.
You think,
No, not even the mortuary.
Well,
just-
no, but yeah, it's hospital in
Places
general.
where people die.
If you wanted to go to the most haunted place, it would be a hospital, wouldn't it? If that
Yeah.
theory stacks
And it's
up.
certainly not a graveyard
No.
or a morgue.
I've heard some fantastic hospital ghost stories from nurses and doctors on various podcasts.
Right.
Like stuff like the doors just keep on like flapping because obviously they're both doors open both ways, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
And they just swinging like that. And then the head nurse, the sister of the ward, just leaned out the desk and said, "Will you pack it in?" And the doors just stop.
Never.
You know, and seeing various bodies walking around, various rooms that get trashed overnight, even though there's no one in them, but someone died in there recently. Some interesting stories. I like the. I don't know. If you're around death all the time like that, you suppose you wouldn't really think you had two thoughts, would you?
See, I know you're going to debunk this straight away. There's a very interesting, most haunted, one of the more recent ones, where they went to an old hospital around Shropshire, Stokey area. Not that far away, but they gave it as a secret location. They didn't actually tell you the location because they didn't want people going there, because it's genuinely quite a dangerous place on lots of different levels, because
Structurally.
Number one, structure as well, but the shit that was going on in that episode, I've never seen an episode like it before. They don't fake stuff like and some of the shit that was happening in there was quite fucking creepy, and that was one of the most believable episodes because it was an old hospital, and you think, well, yeah, the amount of shit that would have happened in this hospital, it was used within some of the worst times in our histories and things like that. It was like a big old fucking couple of 100-year-old manor house that was used as a hospital and turned into a hospital. But yeah,
what was the shit that was going on?
Lots of really nasty, like, door slamming, all that kind of thing, but really like there was shit going off down one end of this corridor, and they'd go down there and there's clearly no one about because there's no exits or anything other than what they can see. Wheelchairs, there was a couple of wheelchairs and things like that kind of left behind, and the wheelchair was just getting flung down the corridor.
Why do they always leave wheelchairs in hospitals?
There was a few random things just left in this
Why do they always
hospital.
leave shit in there? It makes no sense, does it?
I suppose where there's no value to it or whatever, it's just something can't be arsed taking that, just leave it, it'll rot with the rest of it.
Yeah.
If there's no value to it, fuck it, innit?
Old theme parks.
Costs more to get rid of it.
I bet old theme parks, you know, like the little individual kiosks with, you know, service bits and things that they couldn't take out and get money for.
Yeah, yeah,
It's all
that's it,
just
they just
left,
get left.
isn't
I
it?
thought you were going to say about haunted
Yeah.
theme parks. I was like, Claire, this isn't Scooby-Doo.
But no, maybe one day we'll watch that episode because I think it's a couple of parts, so it's a couple of hours worth, and it's probably the most interesting episode I've ever watched.
I am open to watching it, but I do believe that all of Most Haunted was fake, and that Yvonne, Yvette Fielding, is it? I tried listening to her podcast, and it was fucking atrocious. Because I got into the Uncanny podcast.
Yeah.
If you listen to that, that's pretty good. Like, people contact him, he goes and speaks to them, they're skeptics, they have people who believe. It's quite balanced, but some of the stories are quite interesting. And hers is just a fucking horror show compared to that. But nonetheless,
As in boring.
she's just spouting shit and she's got nothing to back it up with.
Right.
And she's still pretending Most Haunted was real when I'm pretty sure the producers came out and said it was for entertainment purposes only. But nonetheless, I'm open to watching that episode. However, according to a highly cynical interview Garton reportedly did with Horror Bound magazine, which is later republished on the Paranormal Studies and Inquiry Canada website, the Warrens not only knew the whole thing was a hoax, but told Garton to invent whatever details he liked to sell the story. And to quote him, "As I gathered the necessary information for the book, I found that the accounts of the individual Snedekers didn't quite mesh. They just couldn't keep their story straight. I went to Ed with this problem and he said, 'Oh, they're crazy. Everyone that comes to us is crazy. Why would they come to otherwise? Why would they come to us? You've got some of the story. Just use what works and make the rest up. Make it scary. You write scary books, right? That's why we hired you. Make it up. Make it scary.'"
You forgot that bit at the end.
Garton further insinuates in the interview the Warrens switched their speciality from ghosts to demons purely because of the popularity of The Exorcist.
Yep.
Because everyone got really into The Exorcist, didn't they? In 1977, wasn't it? The Exorcist.
And then it got banned.
I only watched it for the first time ever this year.
Wow,
last
what?
year actually. Yeah.
Quality.
It's a film that I've watched
That's
about
alright.
3 times in my life and never really feel the need to go back to and watch again.
I've only watched it once, I think.
Brilliant film.
It's one of them that once you've seen it, you've kind of seen it, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, you don't really. It's not one of them ones I think I'll have a light Sunday afternoon, I'll put The Exorcist on.
Jesus, fuck you.
Yeah, vomiting pea soup and.
It's the impact, isn't it? Especially at the time, it's quite graphic.
The fact that it's all done to a little girl as well made it a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And it was actually a little boy was the real story to
Yes,
that.
we did that on an exorcism episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
We covered that.
Mm.
We did go back and listen to that one. I like an exorcism though. I'm not a religious person. I'm not a spiritual person in any stretch of the imagination. But I really like all the dogma and the ritual that, and not to be a part of it, but to watch it.
I don't. I think it's cringy.
You know, and I'm thinking, man, I'd stand there and fucking splash some holy water on some screaming bin.
Fair enough.
I find it quite
Rather
interesting.
than spraying me cum, but
But if someone,
Our minds are in the same place then.
well, if someone was to say the Lord's Prayer over your balls,
yeah,
that would make it holy jizz.
there we go.
that could bring a new funness to exorcisms, couldn't it?
Yeah.
I'll be an exorcism priest, no problem.
But for an exorcism to work, surely you've got to believe in God. And since I don't believe in God, that's why it's cringy for me.
Yeah. But
Same here, Clair.
I kind of like the idea that there's like a secret squad of Vatican exorcists who go out and do shit. And you think like, it's almost like Men in Black, but with demons.
Well, actually, we did have a weird news a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
There
Yeah.
was a shortage of exorcists
Yeah,
in the Vatican.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'd do that, but I'd actually pretend to believe in God. Now, I'm just here for the exorcism, mate. I don't have to do mass.
Isn't that what they all do?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Don't they all just pretend?
Yeah,
to
they all
believe
know it's
in God?
bollocks. Well, the top guys know it's bollocks. I maintain that. The Pope and the Cardinals know it's bollocks. They're just in it for the money.
I don't even worship the god they say they do.
No, they
I think
worship
it's secret. They worship some other god,
Bahamut.
something like that.
Baal, Molech,
Yeah.
something really. What's the one from Ghostbusters?
Zool.
Zool. No, Zool was the Goes of the Traveller.
That's the
Zool was the prophet of.
He was like the follower. Yeah,
He was the
prophet,
mouthpiece,
yeah.
not his Zool. He was the announcer.
Yeah.
But see, I'd be a Ghostbuster. For me, being a Ghostbuster, proton pack Ghostbuster, not just these fuckers going around with a cross saying that there's a ghost in the house. Being a Ghostbuster with a proton pack, my dream job. And I'd
I
take
think most people's dream job.
I think everybody loved to do that. Yeah.
No, either way. If that was a real thing, I'd bust my ass to become a Ghostbuster.
Bust your ass to become a buster.
Anyway, The Exorcist. Back when I was reading the Warrens, they were ghost hunters. Every house they investigated had at least one ghost. Because it's going to.
What's
Isn't
going
it?
to do? Any house they go into is going to have a bloody ghost in it.
Well, that's the thing.
They're not going to say, "Oh, hang on, there's no ghost there. You're wrong." They're not going to do that, are they?
No, because they want the people to feel listened to.
Of course.
Who's there?
And they want to be able to make their name.
Milk
off it.
'em.
Yeah.
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 Milk that teat.
That sweet, sweet media teat. After The Exorcist was so popular, first as a novel, then as a movie, Ed and Lorraine stopped encountering ghosts and began to uncover demon infestations. And it seems that wherever they went, people were being sexually molested by demons.
What?
Apparently so.
Can't even catch a break there.
You're getting sexually molested by demons,
No.
like.
Sadly not.
I don't know whether you'd want to get sexually molested by a demon though.
Succubus, yes.
Reminds me of that scene at This Is the End. When Jonah Hill gets raped by that demon. I definitely don't want that.
No.
Just a hand job will do.
I'm not a greedy man. Just a hand job.
Just make me feel wanted.
I'm so lonely. There's the infamous Devil Made Me Do It trial, the subject of the new Netflix documentary and the basis for the third Conjuring movie, actually titled The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, in which the Warrens participated in the alleged 1980 exorcism of a young boy named David Glatzel. And during the event, which took place during the early years of the Satanic Panic, a participant named Arne Johnson, the boyfriend of Glatzel's older sister, challenged the demon to enter him, after which he allegedly became possessed and subsequently shot and killed his landlord, Alan Bono. In the following murder trial, the defence tried to claim demonic possession. The court refused to allow that defence, however, and Johnson was convicted of first-degree manslaughter.
That's probably why he did it. He said, "I'm going to murder my fucking landlord is a right cunt.
Yeah.
Right, I need an excuse. Someone's just been possessed. I'll say the demon came into me, I killed them, it wasn't me, it was a demon.
You know what, as plans go?
Unfortunately, it didn't work for him.
No. But it worked out for the Warrens,
because he was done with first-degree manslaughter, not first-degree murder.
Maybe it did help him.
It must have in some way, because otherwise he'd have had a double life sentence for first-degree murder. Probably the chair, depending on what state they were in.
All depends. Yeah, we don't know what was going through the judge's mind.
But manslaughter is accidental death.
Yeah, it's not premeditated, isn't it?
Relinquished responsibility.
Diminished
in some way.
responsibility.
That's the one.
I suppose they'd go with the insanity plea on that.
I was just thinking, wouldn't it be this insanity plea?
Yeah. And then you have to ask the question, well, is the demon still in you?
Yeah.
You know?
But either way, you'd say that plan worked for him to an extent.
Well, I mean, he still went to jail. You know, he's not living in his house anymore. But the Warrens walked away from it all with another best-selling book, 1983's The Devil in Connecticut. So they made their money. All head-turning, to be sure, but the Glatzel family has subsequently been deeply divided over the events. David, who was 11 at the time, maintains that he really was possessed, and his older sister married Johnson and stayed with him until her death in 2021. Meanwhile, his older brother Carl Glatson has consistently claimed over the years that the family faked and exaggerated incidents, while the Warrens incited them and encouraged them in pursuit of fame and wealth. In 2007, he sued the Warrens, claiming the book was made of complete lies, and the Warrens concocted a phony story about demons in an attempt to get rich and famous at our expense. Sadly, that suit was ultimately dismissed, and claimed that the Warrens depicted his real-life scepticism as antagonism brought on by Carl's own demonic possession.
He's lying, he's demonically possessed as well.
Yeah.
A fucking excuse for everything.
And basically Carl says that it tore the family apart, basically.
See, I am somewhat a believer in spirits and ghosts, yeah?
Yep.
But demonic possession, never been convinced by it.
You draw the line at demonic possession.
Well, I don't know, there's never been any real evidence of it or anything, yeah.
Nothing you can't put down to mental illness or really bad epilepsy.
Yeah, or a bit of overacting.
Or faking it.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
I just don't see what's in it for the demon.
No,
Exactly.
you're right. There's nothing in it for the demon. If he was possessing the fucking Pope,
No, that's it.
or the Prime Minister, or
He's
Fair
possessing
Dinghams,
He's possessing the president, I get it. But
yeah.
They'll say that they got there before the demon could take hold and cause them to go on a killing spree or something.
Why would you fucking possess an 11-year-old child? What are they gonna fucking do? Come on.
Shoot their school children at school. That happens all the time.
Are you saying that all school shootings in America are perpetrated by demonically possessed children?
Yes.
But you know what I mean? In the eyes of a demon, yeah, if you're going to possess somebody, if you're going to use your time and effort to fucking possess somebody, which, let's face it, so I'm guessing it'd be quite a bit of effort for that demon to do so, right?
Well, you've got the trip up, for a start.
Yeah.
You're going to possess Chuck Norris, aren't you?
You're going to possess somebody worth possessing.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Someone that's going to be able to make an influence to do your bad, evil bidding. You know what I mean? Like the president.
Maybe there's rules that you have to let the demon in, and somehow the kid.
I know, but if I'm Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies and Lord of the Ninth Host of Hell's Legions, right, and I get summoned accidentally by an 11-year-old kid, oh, you fuck off, kid. I've got better things,
it's better than nothing, though, isn't it?
I've got better things to do.
You can't get Chuck Norris, you got the kid or nothing.
Well, what am I going to do? What evil am I going to accomplish?
Well, like I said, he can still do some damage. He gets hold of a gun.
Well, I know, but still, I mean, it's pissing in the wind, really.
I don't believe any of it.
And it goes on. Every major incident the Warrens have been involved with over the years has ultimately been thoroughly debunked, assuming supporting evidence was even provided to begin with. In several cases, the Warrens claim to have video or photographic evidence that never materialised. In a 1990 incident, Ed Warren described film I took of a female spirit supposedly haunting a cemetery. The film was never made public, and the spirit turned out to be the work of a woman named Judith Penny, who was reportedly wearing a white bedsheet over her head.
Yeah,
Wow.
just a nutter in the cemetery.
I mean, people have done that around here, though. Not the white bedsheet, but they've gone to Bliss Hill, got some, which is a Victorian living museum.
Yeah.
Got some outfits, and then started hanging around churchyards of Victorian gear. And that caused a bit of a stir for a while, and then they came out and admitted. I think the police actually caught them in the gear, in the act of haunting.
But what could they actually charge them with? Standing in a fucking graveyard dressed as an 1830s character.
Just
Sorry,
the theft
what-
of the costumes, I think.
Well, I suppose.
They ramp something up, disturbing the peace,
Yeah.
something like that.
Disturbing
An
the
Asbo.
peace.
Maybe.
It's hardly Asbo material, is it? Just standing there.
Antisocial behaviour order.
If
Yes.
anything, you'll be getting rid of the people coming out the pubs, going running down the road. They'll just go straight home.
They'd be
won't
too scared to walk past the
Yeah.
churchyard
Yeah.
in case they see the old Victorian child.
So they're minimising antisocial behaviour, essentially.
So what you're suggesting is we need ghosts
On the
patrolling the
streets.
streets at night instead of the police.
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah? I reckon it'd be a hell of a lot more effective.
Like, oh, there's that screaming ghost again. Will you shut the fuck up? It's 3 in the morning.
Have you
I'm
seen
trying
them?
to wank.
Have you seen them ones that sit on the videos? They sit on the bench and they're like a little
What,
kid.
ghosts or...
No, like this is a prank.
Oh, right.
They're they've got like black wig on and like they must have blood over their face and that, and they're pretending to cry and going, "Ah," and then people that are, on a night out or whatever just come up to them, touch them, and she goes, "Ah!" and they go. Like,
They're
running
brave,
off.
man, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because I'd fucking smack them.
I mean, the first ghost is bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, I think we should have them on the street
Yeah.
instead of police.
So the counter-argument to all of this is essentially like, hey, the Warrens did profit from books and public appearances, yes, but they never charged for investigating cases, and they gave some of the profits of their books to the families impacted by the cases, and they didn't make that much money. They seemed to believe in what they were doing, even if they exaggerated a little. And plus, even the skeptics who investigated them commented on how nice they were. They can't be scammers, could they? They're too nice.
Well, they're going to be nice. They want to get in your house, get
Yeah.
a bit of your story or what, and then exaggerate it a little bit. They're going to be nice, aren't they?
Well, given the events of the films that have come out based on their quote cases, I think those films have made like $1 billion between them. Lorraine was on a consultant for them, and I'd imagine the estate, because they're taking them from their cases, certainly earns, I'd have thought. So it's underlying all of this debate and undermining all of the Warren supporters is a much darker cynicism surrounding who the Warrens were, particularly the difference between their public and private faces. Judith Penny, who is sometimes described as Ed's assistant or his liaison, has alleged that in the beginning of the early 60s, Ed Warren, then in his 30s, began grooming her, and she was 15. Penny claimed Warren moved her into the Warrens' house in Bridgeport and commenced a full-blown sexual affair with Lorraine's full consent. It lasted until just a few years from Ed's death in 2006. Penny's alleged relationship with Warren came to light in 2017 via The Hollywood Reporter, which was critical of both the Warrens and the Conjuring franchise for continuing to valorise the Warrens after the allegation of Ed Warren's predatory behaviour first came to light in 2014. Yeah, both Warner Bros. And the Warren family have painted Penny as a vulnerable elderly woman being manipulated by bad actors into fabricating claims as part of lawsuits filed by various greedy parties against the Conjuring franchise. Because of course they would, wouldn't they?
Yep.
However, there does seem to be some proof. Penny was reportedly arrested for delinquency because she moved in with Warren, although it seems no investigation into Warren for sexual predation was initiated. And her presence in the house gets a nod in the 1980s book about the Warrens, The Demonologist. Apparently Lorraine took her to go and have an abortion as well. Like,
Yeah, I read that.
not very Catholic of him, is it?
No.
The alleged grooming lies at the heart of the conflict between the Warrens on paper and the Warrens in pop culture. The billion-dollar Conjuring franchise relies on the public's affection for the Warrens as characters, yet that affinity stems from a belief in their real life purity and wholesome sincerity that gets harder to stain as we learn more about them. For instance, Looraine Warren's presentation as a chaste, deeply devout Catholic often catalyses the cinematic rousing of the demon on screen, yet in reality, Penny alleged Looraine was not only fully complicit in Ed's abuse of her, but coldly pressured him into getting an abortion. Yeah, Penny alleged Ed was both physically and verbally abusive to Looraine throughout the marriage. Author Jude Doyle wrote, "If you know any part of the truth portraying them as heroes is reprehensible." So they could be a lot darker than you think. And I've never met any strictly religious person who's not a fucking hypocrite. So in other words, the public's love for the fictional Warrens fuels growing interest and awareness in the real Warrens, which then ironically makes interest and awareness in the fictional Warrens harder to sustain. It's like, oh yeah, they're great on screen. Oh, Ed was a nonce. I'm not so interested in those films anymore.
No.
Although not that Warner Brothers isn't trying, through the Conjuring films have increasingly leaned away from relying too heavily on the Warrens and central figures. Witness spin-offs from The Nun to Annabelle, they still typically rely on the Warrens as spiritual guideposts. Quote Bethy Squires, who wrote for The Vulture, "All this weight on the suspension of disbelief makes the Conjuring verse one of the most politically and meta-textually rich franchises in the film history. It has a vibe of religious propaganda, but the craven commercialism of Warner Brothers Discovery. Fascinating." So it's like, they know it's shit, but hey, it's made $1 billion.
Of course.
And people
Fucking
like horror, don't
gift
they?
that keeps on coming, isn't it? You know, like you say, The Nun 2, when's it, Nun 3 out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conjuring the Nun. That'll do fucking spin-offs and fuck knows what.
Oh yeah, they've done the same with Alien, Predator, Alien versus Predator, Alien fucking Predator. Seen
There's
that
like
I've never seen that one.
there's a
No.
load of shit horrors, and they're all like shark exorcist, and they like take things from like the megalodon and all that, and
one?
Shark Exorcist,
yeah,
you
there's
say?
a film called Shark Exorcist.
They've always got to take it down the like so stupid it
Yeah.
becomes cult.
Yeah.
Sharknado.
Well, there you go. There's like 9 of them.
No, but there'd be like one the Sharknado crossed with The Exorcist is Shark Exorcist. Do you get me? So they take two different films, one a horror film, and just put it together and mismatch it.
That's what they did with Sharknado, innit? They took like Twister
Yeah.
and Jaws or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
and mashed them together to make a tornado that spits out sharks.
Sold, got my attention. I also want to point out the Annabelle in the films is nothing like the Annabelle in real life. That if you scroll up, they've got a picture of Annabelle, the cinematic Annabelle doll. That looks nothing like that. It's a Raggedy Ann doll.
It's just a normal old
Just
doll.
a normal old cuddly toy doll. It's not a creepy pig-tailed evil ventriloquist dummy. Which, to be fair, if someone gave me that doll as a
It'd be-
present,
It'd be burned.
I'd burn it.
instantly. Yeah.
I'm not having that in the fucking house. I'm not even superstitious. The thing just creeps me out. I don't want that.
Oh, I'd stick it in the loft and bring it out at Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh no, no.
One of my friends I used to stay at when I was in the forces, just the spare room had a bunch of like porcelain dolls, I think they are. My fuck, they're creepy as hell.
Yeah.
And when I used to get, obviously I was being right pisshead back in the forces, as all people in are. And yeah, get in on a night out and be sleeping and wake up in the middle of the night a bit spinny out, not quite knowing where you are. See all these crazy fucking dolls all in the room. Yeah. it's-
Well, you take him down on the submarine with him.
When I used to stay at my friend's
Ah.
on
sorry.
leave and things,
Ah, right, okay.
I'd stay the spare
What you meant in the
room.
digs?
No. And his mum,
Yes, because what you want on a submarine, Mike, is a shelf full of porcelain dolls.
yeah.
It's
All
very-
those blokes aren't going to take the piss out of you too much.
You're not gonna have,
That's what I was-
you're not gonna die even they just all fall off the shelf.
That's what I was wondering. You know, he's a brave man, isn't he?
A brave man who takes porcelain dolls on.
They weren't his
On
dolls, they
submarines.
were his mum's anyway. It
Ah.
was the spare room in his house.
Right.
So, yeah. But no, it's creepy as fuck. That was my point.
Yeah.
Just wake up in the middle of the night like, oh shit, and forget where I was a little bit.
I'd move one right in front of your face if I'd been him. I'd have fucking so done that.
Oh yeah, I'd have woken up the street probably.
So the current Warren legacy, primarily carried forward by their son-in-law Sparer, also goes a step beyond religiosity. On his website, in his summary of the Warrens' appeal, he writes, to quote him, "In a world that scoffs at ghosts and laughs at the unusual, the Warrens deliver a contrary message. The message is this: the fairy tale is true, the devil exists, God exists." Good for him. Well, he's got to keep it going because he's making a fucking fortune now, isn't he? The key phrase there isn't about the devil or God, but rather the fairy tale. And even as Sparer purports to usher fans into a world of supernatural terror, he knows that all of this is heightened, romanticised lore. Not just folklore, but the story of the Warrens themselves as a couple of truth-seeking soulmates. Oh yeah, travelling the roads, fighting demons.
Ah.
Yeah. It's all part of the lie that the Warrens were so adept at selling. I mean, do you accept the girl who says, hey, this guy fucking groomed me, fucked me, abused me, and then they paid for me to have an abortion? You know, he's a real scumbag.
Yeah.
And she knew about it all. Or do you believe their tale of it's their hunt going round Scooby-Dooing this shit?
I believe they were, just con artists.
Yeah.
Scooby-Dooing, thinking they're or wanting to be, or maybe they've got mental health issues. They're just like, oh.
Well, I mean, they are prone to believing in the supernatural because they're both allegedly devout Catholics. You could argue she's got mental issues because she thinks she's a medium, she's talking to the dead.
Exactly.
You could make that argument. You could argue that, it's just they just con artists. They just saw a gap in the market and went for it.
Yeah. Opportunist con artist, that's what I'm going for.
Like Uri Geller.
Uri Geller, my arch nemesis.
Does he know this?
No, we'll find out. I'll tweet him. Or I'll X him or whatever the fuck I do nowadays.
It means me believing that ghosts and demons are real, that's the problem. And I'm not at that point, so I have to call it fake.
You're not at that point yet? Is there a time you're going to believe it? Have you got it planned out in the next
Well,
20... When I get to 70, demons.
Look, there's some concrete evidence, rather than just hearsay, which is what most of it is, isn't it?
Well, that's it.
That's what the families of these houses are telling you.
Yeah. I mean, the Enfield haunting, which they got a film out of, the Enfield Poltergeist, they were there for 10 minutes. They went away and wrote this whole book about how they were there solving fucking demonic possession. So you were there for 10 minutes and no one wanted you, they told you to fuck off. So they're obviously lying about some stuff, aren't they? They can't have been everywhere for all this time they say they were going to be. I don't know, I think they're full of shit. I think they saw a gap in the market and went for it, especially when the Satanic Panic kicked off. Ride the back of The Exorcist.
Yep.
It's like every sci-fi film that came out after Star Wars,
That's it, yeah. I'm with you on that.
Every sci-fi film. You say none of them were like any more original.
Basically, I mean, like when Star Wars came out in '77, sci-fi wasn't really a thing. It had been in the 50s, but people had gone on to. I mean, the 60s was obviously the time of the war film.
Yeah.
But '77, when that sci-fi came out, and all of a sudden, all the Warner Brothers and Universal are scrabbling around trying to get any sci-fi script they can. We have Alien. Alien was made as a result of Star Wars being so popular. Because Fox were like, shit, we need a sci-fi film.
What scripts have we got? And the only one they had was Alien.
Yeah. So, right, make that. Green like that.
It's the complete opposite.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark and fucking...
There's another one coming out this year, isn't there?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alien Romulus.
August,
What's that,
I
then?
believe. Isn't
I'm
it?
not convinced.
What's that going to be?
It's going to be set between Alien and Aliens.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
Just give me the fucking aliens getting to Earth, man.
Ooh,
Give me that.
Ben.
I've already done that.
AVP2.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but I'm talking like, it's literally open
And
war.
AVP.
Well, yeah, technically.
You know, I want like aliens fucking overrunning cities, and we're having to nuke them to fucking stop them, and we have to evacuate the Earth. There's a book called Earth Hive. It's like the aliens extended universe. The aliens take Earth.
Why?
Like they get out, they start going, and you know, as you know, you're in a city, you notice people go missing, but in the countryside you don't so much. So they got these like, you know, they have to go and send teams in to wipe out the nests, and then they're having to nuclear strike cities because it's too much of a hide that you can't clear it out. It's like scorched earth until eventually we just like, evacuate as many people as we can. Give me that.
Fucking hell.
Well, give it a chance first. You haven't.
No, because the whole thing's become tired for me with aliens. Because like, oh,
They're
what's
dragging it
that?
out a little
I'm just going to
bit.
stick my face next to
Oh,
that. Don't know
yeah.
what that is. Ah! It's like,
Alien Covenant. Oh my god.
terrible.
Yeah.
Prometheus, terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was a mess, wasn't it?
You know, it's like Predator. Predator's a bit tired now. He's like, oh, he's going to kill someone.
I like that Prey. I thought it was quite
That
good.
was all right.
Oh,
I mean,
Prey.
give me Predator in just samurai times, and there's a Ronin whose master was killed by the Predator. And he's going to go and hunt him down. Give me
There is
that.
a Prey 2, isn't
Yeah.
there? Coming.
Yeah. Give me Predator in World War One.
That's where it's no World War Two. The new one is.
Well, give me that.
Yeah.
What, Prey 2?
Yeah. World War Two apparently.
But
So basically, what I think looks like what they're doing, you know, the very end scene of Predator 2, where he finds all of the old skulls and trinkets from each part of past and different planets and things. Maybe we're seeing those now.
well, that's what they need
Kind
to
of
dip
thing.
into.
That's the idea of it. Like, it shows that it's been coming throughout the past. Obviously, you have the pirate
Yeah.
guns and
Yeah.
things, and
Yeah, give me Predator versus Pirates.
Yeah.
Anything with pirates just makes it loads better.
Predator
We haven't
versus
had-
Vikings.
Yeah.
We haven't had.
nah, it'd be over too quick.
Was
Vikings would just fuck it up straight away.
We haven't had many pirates since Pirates of the Caribbean, have we?
Yeah, but there was a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean films.
A
Wasn't
lot
there?
of a lot of pirates.
First one's fantastic. It's a zombie pirate film.
Yeah.
Second one arguably was
Okay.
good as well.
The third one was fine,
Went
but I
off
didn't
a
have a
bit.
fucking clue who was on whose side by the end of it. There was that many double crosses going on.
After that, it just got lost, didn't it?
Yeah.
The first three were okay, and then it went plop.
Yeah. But listen, I haven't actually watched any of these Conjuring films because it's just in one horror film.
Some of them are worth a watch just for
Yeah.
shits and giggles.
Mm.
They're not amazing, but they're not terrible. Yeah. That's my synopsis of them.
Towards horror films, it's hard to make a good one.
Just watch
It's
Saw
difficult.
10.
Ugh.
Have you any good?
Yeah,
I've heard
it's
it's.
right.
I've heard it's okay.
What?
Saw 10.
Fuck.
I don't want to watch people getting tortured to death in my free
No,
time.
it's not for me really.
You know, it's like I want to relax. I want to chill out. I want to take my mind away from the stresses of the world. And I'm just watching some dude get tortured to death. It's not for me.
Have to rip his own penis off with a
Yeah.
pair of scissor nails or something
Yeah.
because he's got some kind of key
In his
lodged
dick.
in his bollocks or something. I don't know. Fucking
There was
ridiculous.
a bit of that, but it was like the eyeball got sucked out by a vacuum cleaner.
Thing is, I'm watching it, I'm thinking, man, this is probably happening to someone for fucking real. Suppose some serial killer got a basement full of victims, he's killing them all off in brutal ways.
Because he's a big fan of.
Because he's a big fan of Saw. I don't know. You can guarantee someone somewhere is being horribly tortured. And I don't really want to think about that while I'm in my free time watching a film.
Leave those thoughts when you're masturbating.
Yeah. Leave it for them. Yeah. Leave them for when I can replay it behind my eyes as I'm having social interactions. Gets me through. But yeah, so the Warrens, where are we at? We're all going to say that they're
I think
charlatans.
I kind of
grifters.
go with my initial statement about them. Some of the things that they went and saw were potentially had truth behind them, but a lot of what they did with they exaggerated everything to the extent that it all just became bullshit.
Yeah, it's called full bullshit.
Yeah, I'm calling full bullshit. So there we have it. Full bullshit. Full bullshit, both barrels. I've been Ben. Thanks for listening. Don't drink the playthrough. Don't join a cult.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out, men, the force be with you.
I've been Claire. Keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. Everybody have a nice week.